and then it's just start. Um, my hands are oily because I oiled everything, my hair. But
Oh, well,
yeah,
your hair looks
so
nice.
I feel like I was watching a video and well, hi, I'm Nia. This is my best friend Amanda, and we're gonna have a conversation that is triggering to most, but not to me, or Amanda, but whatever. It's just more about I feel like you can't have a conversation anymore because you can lose your job. People get offended. Like it's just ridiculous. But when you say something racist towards Black people, nothing happens. And it's just been my biggest frustration and has been really hard to make content. Like when I was a substitute teacher, making content was not that hard. One, because you're a substitute teacher, so you're not really known in the school. And then two, it was almost as if I did not have a job. You
Mhm.
know, it was almost like I didn't, hi. It was almost as if I didn't matter to people, which was good, which made my content better. So now it's like, I think about this, which I'm gonna make a video, this Nicki Minaj situation and her just trying to not to get deported, in my opinion, and also her just trying to make up for the fact that she's with someone who R's people. Um, her trying to be a Republican is just crazy. But at the same time, I just think about how being a racist Black person, there's no repercussion for you, right?
Mhm.
You can hate yourself, you can hate Black people's guts, no repercussion for you at all. But then when you are trying to tell people, hey, I've been oppressed as you have, slavery was wrong, when you try to tell people that what they've done is wrong, then all of a sudden, oh, there's a light up here. Hold on. That might be a little bit better because I have like a couple lights that I'm trying to use right now. Um, but when you tell people that what they're doing is wrong to you and it is racist and it's discriminatory, all of a sudden it's reverse racism. It's you're white and you're oppressed. It's, well, you can't say white people are doing something wrong. And I feel like even with YouTube, I'm having an issue with having to say YT. I'm gonna stop saying it. If my
Mhm.
stuff gets banned, it gets taken down. I don't care. I'm so tired. Why are we censoring stuff? People can say
Mhm.
ugly Black girl. People can say Black girl this, I hate you, mud shark, all these terrible, awful things that they get away with saying. But when you tell people stop being abusive, stop being racist, then you are the criminal. And it makes no sense. And I feel like that's something that's been messing me up mentally when it comes to creating content. Even like being in a surrounding, like, right now I'm in a hotel. I'm not in a private space. Even when I'm in my parents' house, I'm not in a private space. Okay, if you're white, we don't care. Like, this is not the conversation. I'm not in a private space. So I feel like it's so hard for me to be truthful, to be honest, when I feel like I'm going to get attacked for telling people to stop attacking me. And it hurts. I see racist Instagram content. I've dealt with racism in dating. I know that I'm a beautiful Black woman. I'm an important Black woman, and I need to be here on this planet. I don't care. And it even makes me, we'll talk about Wendy Osefo. It even makes me look differently at Wendy Osefo. I feel like, I've been with a push and pull with her. Like, I'm like, this is so stupid what you did. But at the same time, I'm just like, they are a Black family that did something that white people do all the time. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden, people think that they should be basically be hung. This is crazy. This is insane.
Right.
This is too much. Yeah, what she did was stupid. Yeah, what she did was greedy. But when I look at her family dynamic, it feels like she's done it because she's trying to impress her mother, because she's trying to stay with her family. It seems like all they care about is her money. All they care about is when she has money. And I know what it feels like to right now feel like you have family members that are turning into Republican. My own parent, I feel, is turning into a Republican. Very nasty about
Well,
money, very despicable, very giving like poor, this color behavior. It's very despicable. So yeah,
mhm.
it's hard for me to make content because my content is not plushy. I just bought a new Tesla. I just bought a new Louis Vuitton bag. Look at me being arrogant and stupid and spending all this money for these companies that don't even like Black people. Yeah, it sucks. Like that is what makes money. Racism makes money. That's not even with your skin, which we already know about the skin bleaching. It's more about hating yourself in any aspect, getting a breast job, getting a butt job, getting a nose job, hating yourself for the sacrifice of men, you know? And I will just keep deleting people in the comments. Don't think you slick. We're gonna continue to talk about it. Like my content gets so much hate because people hate black people and the internet is just racist, right? But I'm gonna tell you for the most part, and my friend has told me several times that black people love black people. It's just more about who's here on the internet. People wanna be
Mhm.
pervs on the internet. They wanna be disgusting on the internet. They wanna spread hate. They want black people to hate themselves so bad because they hate the situation they're in, which is being poor because America is a shitty fucking country. It is. I'm gonna say it again. America is a shitty motherfucking country. So poor people are going against poor people and everyone's throwing rocks at each other for no reason, which is unnecessary. So I just wanted to say, like, where do I start? Like, I hope a black girl hears this. My content has not been as strong as it used to be. I used to be so vigorous and so like strong with my words. I used to be like, I will hurt your soul. But now that I have a career, I feel like I have to watch what I say. But at the same time, it's like, watch what I say for what? If I sat here and I was just like, I hate my black hair, I love Taylor Swift, a company would not give two shits about what I just said. But if I sat here and I said, I love my hair, I hate discrimination, I can't stand y'all, then all of a sudden it's like you're oppressing white people. That's why I'm trying to get on to what Nicki Minaj said about, you could love your black girl hair, but you don't have to make fun of a girl with blue eyes and blonde hair. Ain't nobody make fun of a girl with blue eyes and blonde hair. That is a very dangerous narrative. We're telling you that people are telling us that have blue eyes and blonde hair that we need to be just like them, and we don't, says Nicki Minaj, who is wearing a 70-inch bust down for
Has
what? That's
never
not your
taken
natural hair.
off
That's
the
not
bus
your real hair.
down.
Girl, for her to want to wear all this stuff on her head and wanting to be in the Barbie movie, come on. You whitewashed yourself then. You were in the movie Barbie. And technically, not even you. Ice Spice was really the cover of it. You just had your music. Ice Spice was whiter than you. Anyways, but yeah, that's how I feel about making my content and just want to figure out a solution
Mhm.
to feeling safe. And I personally think my solution is, I don't know if it's having a studio, like having some little tiny box if I don't have a home right now, but like, you know what I mean? Like it's just a lot. In my job, this is not saying I don't have a home like I'm homeless, but it's more about I'm always on the go. So it's definitely a lot. But yeah, what do you think? I really just want an apartment so I can feel safe making my content.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing, aside from your personal life, I just think you have to continue to make the content that you make because it is important, like you said, to talk. Like I feel like people are so used to um how racist the internet is just because the people who make the internet, the people who mandate the internet, the people who control the content on the internet, like we all know what they look like, and we know that the propaganda and the people that are paying them to
Yeah.
do so, like that's why it was such a thing during the election, like with Facebook, with all this stuff, all this false news, everything, like the reason why it got so serious was that they basically just got caught for their leading information
I'm
and their
listening. Keep talking.
propaganda.
I'm gonna get my glasses.
Yeah, sure. Even earlier today, it was interesting. I watched a few videos from Vice talking about, like people who content control for Meta and for these social media companies and the horrendous things that they see online, whether it's like, you know, I don't know how to say it, CA or like, like things like that. Just terrible, terrible things. And they can't even report it. It's not accepted because they have these strict guidelines that they just don't care. Simply put, they don't care about really making the internet safe for people because it makes them lose money, and they know that there's money in these terrible things online, especially when it comes to people who are billionaires or politicians. They're the nastiest people of them all. So who do you think is supporting this terrible content, you know whether it involves children, whether it involves misogyny, racism? Like they are their money is supporting this terrible stuff. So it's just you know, it's not a coincidence that this is what happens. And I just think that's also why when we see content, it's hard sometimes for um pro-black content to be pushed in media. Like, yeah, the algorithm might send you that because that's what you watch, but at the same time, you are never not gonna get something racist or something that's just misogynistic or something that's not, even sexual because it's just that's what they want to exploit. They want to exploit those things. And so it's like, you know, being a person who is pro-black and black themselves, it's a danger for their algorithm. It's a danger for their money, which is why at the same time you should continue to do that, regardless of how difficult it may be. Because, you know, if people start to think that their content isn't going to be supported or it's not important, then and they stop what they're doing, then who are we going to be able to listen to and support that does feel the same way that we do, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's hard to make content that is meaningful because one, you're worried about your real life job. Like, you ever notice that how
Mhm.
YouTubers, like, our content shifts with our career that we have when our career is not tied to our content, even. Like, we shift. I've noticed how different it is when content creators have like a, 9 to 5 job and make
Mhm.
content versus when they don't. And they're so free, they're so say whatever they want. They have no boundary. And for
Yeah.
me, it's not even like what I'm saying it's bad, is what I'm saying it's true. And it makes white people feel bad for what they've done. It's like if you
Yeah.
were to sit up here and talk about the Holocaust and people in Germany were to retaliate and fire you just because you're working for German authorities. Like, no, you could talk about the facts of history. I
Right.
feel like this country is not going to move forward and we're going backwards because we are no longer journalists. Like, you cannot talk about the facts because of someone's feelings versus when someone is or as a child touched, you can't even talk about what's going on in the world. Like, we are going so backwards in society, and it's like trying to, level up, do you'll
Right.
like,
Mhm.
but when it comes to they want all types of money, whether it's bad money, blood money, diamond money, like, they want all types of money, so it don't matter to them. It doesn't. You don't matter. You being a good person, I feel like doesn't matter in a society that is so drenched in capitalism.
Mhm.
It really doesn't
Yeah.
matter to anyone. But it does. Like, I'm saying that as in when it comes to money, money wise, it doesn't matter. Even
Right.
if it's not the parent I support you. Thank you. I appreciate it a lot. It's very hard. Like, I feel like when I first started YouTube, my voice was so strong because I had nothing to lose per se. But now it's like I have a career that is really good and I love it. But at the same time, you never know. Like, people get upset in your job or outside of your job of you being nice to black people. And I feel like that's something that like black men especially are scared of. They're scared to
Mhm.
be nice to black people because they're scared of losing the one little job that they have. And I've noticed that. Yeah, black men, that's a whole nother conversation, which is, what I date. That those are people I date. That's my dating pool right now, and like I love my people, but I'm not going to neglect that I'm noticing very strong racial issues in the community and lack of effort and the fact that women have to do more than
Mhm.
black men. Like, they have to, white, black, whatever race you are, a lot of black men are okay with you paying for their meal, taking your money, taking your time, your space. Like, dating has been such a whirlwind for me learning. Like, I feel like it's messed up who I am a little bit. I really do. I used to be this girl that did not care. I took pictures every day, every second. I didn't care about nothing. Then I got into relationships or situationships with black men who were racially traumatized, and it traumatized me. And I'm still getting over that, but it's very frustrating because I see the racial issues when I even go out in public. I see what's wrong with a lot of black men. And I think that I wish I could be a therapist for black men because they need help. They really do. Like the whole Sharon Moore, whatever, I don't even know. Thank you for whoever sent the sticker. The whole Sharon Moore situation of it, I'm just like, this is so sad.
Mhm.
I don't like that man. This is disgusting. But it's also more so like I still am empathetic, as in this is just sad for all parties involved. I would say except for
Yeah,
his wife, because y'all knew she knew what was going on. She knew what was up. She knew she was with a really
agreed.
nasty black man who was out
But
here doing all
somebody
types of
who is,
stuff with white
you
people.
know,
She knew. I don't care what
yeah.
nobody says. But you have to understand that girl he was with was powerless. She was put in that position. I think it was I don't know who the stray kids are.
We're not talking about K-pop. Get out of here.
Yeah, if I wanna, I'll hide them.
There is more in this world than
Yeah, I
K-pop.
know. This is what I mean. Like, it's just like, oh my God. But anyways,
Like
I try to keep
y'all need
focused
to
because
get
I
off
know
the
a lot
K-pop
of
and look at the
YouTubers deal
news.
with like stuff like this. But I really feel like it's aggravating for me to see a lot of people be like, he was set up, it was a trap. No shit, he
Said
was
about
set
who?
up,
Himself?
idiot. Like, it doesn't matter if he was set up or not. He was in a position of authority and he decided to do this. He thought it was fun.
Mhm.
And everyone wants to say self control, self control. It's more than just self control with sex. Racial issues are in the NFL and football in America. Black men are the new age slaves when it comes to football. You are a slave. You are a modern day slave. Measure your height, your width, your wingspan, everything. Like head to
Yeah.
toe. You
You're
are a
owned. You're
tool.
owned by
You
a
are a
company.
slave. So black men
You're
being a
owned, you're
slave
traded,
feel
you're
like you're
bought, you're
talking over me.
sold. Sorry.
Black men being a slave in this position are in a light of cameras and they go towards being with white women because they want to be included. They
You're a
want to
slave
be
to
included,
America.
but at the end
I'm
of the day, you're
saying that.
not going to be included if you're with someone for their skin color because of what you think they can give you in society instead of who they are. So you have a lot of kids being born from these interracial families that honestly are the worst kids in the world. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know who they are. They don't know how to do their hair. Like, there's so much stuff that happens to these kids and they become awful people. And I'm just like, nobody cares. They just have kids to have kids and don't think about if we have an interracial child, biracial child, what will happen? How will we protect them? How will we go about their blackness? How will we preserve their blackness? What are we going to know? Black men just do what they do, have kids with whoever, and think it doesn't matter. And I'm like, it does matter because these kids come to me talking about, I don't know how to do my hair. Not me, them. I don't know how to do my hair and I don't want to be alive anymore because my daddy was racist. And I think too that's why a lot of light skinned females get mad at me because I be clocking tea online and they're like, dang, she talking about my mama and my daddy. Yes, I am. That doesn't have to be you, but know that your daddy is a racist pig. That's it. Move on. I'm not gonna not talk just because you feel guilty about the racism in your life, that you are racist, that your family is racist. I'm not gonna stop talking. No. So yeah, I've had a lot of issues with light skinned females that want to act like they, oh hoorah, black people, oh yeah, get up in my face. A lot of girls from Atlanta, oh hoorah, I'm pro black. And then I talk about your mama and her, like right indirectly, I talk about your mama. All of a sudden, you don't want to be hoorah black people because you realize your daddy is fucking racist. Get on my nerves. Now, I can speak. Sorry.
I don't remember what I was saying. Um, just in talking, well, I was talking about the NFL, but we can move on. Something else. What else did you want to talk about?
You can talk about the NFL
Oh, well, I
because
mean, we
that's
moved
the
to
only
the
image that we see of black men being, let's put in parentheses, successful. That's the only image. They don't show us the astronauts. They don't show us the scientists. They don't show us
Mhm.
none of that. They show the NFL. And I've learned that this country is way too obsessed with football because I think it is a version of slavery.
Because sports is something that you can do without getting a proper education, and they don't want black people or minorities to get education, so they'd rather push that you guys are better at sports, so that's all you can do, so they can inadvertently buy you, trade you, sell you. You know, it is slavery. It's like that and the prison system. Like they are both forms of slavery, and it's like if you can make somebody not um not be able to be put in school or some kind of higher education to learn that they can elevate themselves in a different way, then, that's their goal. That's their goal, and that's also kind of the goal for white people when it came to integration, because they were like, "All right, if that's the problem, that you guys are segregated, we'll integrate, but we're gonna make you slaves in a different way." You know? That's what a lot of white people who push this systemic racism want to do. They find sneaky ways to do things that, and then gaslight everybody to make you feel like it'll be better to exploit yourself in entertainment or in sports or in anything.
I agree. I just think about people who have had, um, I'm thinking about me when it comes to my content, and I'm just like, what can I do to make myself feel protected? What can I do? Like, I think I have to think about things, like there's people out
Mhm.
here who are online taking several shots, getting all types of twisted, going to bars, all the things I've seen people that, do my job and actually do it at the job, which is crazy. And I'm just like, no one would fire them. Like you
Mhm.
can't I'm just tired of feeling villainized because I am protecting myself as a black woman. When you protect yourself as a black woman, a lot of people in this country feel uncomfortable. They're just like, "Oh my gosh, she doesn't hate herself. She's not wearing wigs. She doesn't want to be white." Like they have a mental fucking breakdown. So I think when they see black men with white women, they applaud it because they're like, "Yes, you hate yourself." And that's
Yeah,
where I'm
it
just
makes
like,
them
I'm
feel
not
more
okay with
comfortable.
it. I feel like it gives them joy to see black people hate themselves. And when I come around a lot of white people that see my natural hair, they are so like I could tell they're just shook. One, because I'm pretty as fuck, they old as fuck, like in my industry. And I'm just like, yeah, what's up? Like, yeah, I'm here and I'm natural and I got the job and I got more degrees than you and I'm smarter than you. So what's up? But it's like when I run into them, I could tell they feel uncomfortable. You know the amount of white people at my job that have looked me up and down before they've said hello? I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, bitch, I'm wearing what the fuck I want to wear. What's up? I'm not wearing a wig on my head. Like when you wear a wig, it does make white people feel comfortable. I don't know how to explain it, but it makes them feel comfortable as shit to talk to you.
Mhm.
It does. I
Because they
swear it does.
feel a subconscious bias that people who wear wigs that are not white, want to be white almost, or that they're assimilating in a type of way to make them feel comfortable. It's almost like your presence, you being in front of them and doing all this stuff or whatever will make them feel more comfortable. They don't have to worry about you, like, you know, clocking them on something that they say, or telling them that they're racist, even if they aren't, but there is some kind of subconscious bias there
I
for white
agree.
people to feel uncomfortable with just pro-blackness.
I agree. And I came down south. Well, I'm always going down south because of my career. And I've been exposed to the most kindest, sweetest, gorgeous black women I've ever met in my life. Hello, I hope all is well. I've been exposed to the sweetest, like, and the accent. Not everybody's perfect. I'm just saying I'm being exposed more to different types of black women other than New York. And I'm just like, wow, y'all black men are sitting up here living off of white women and mooching off of other women of other races. And I am literally experiencing the most kind, respectful, and sweet women I've ever met in my life. What is going on here? What's going there's nothing wrong with these women. They're so freaking kind. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care if they're not assimilating. I don't care if they are assimilating. They have manners. And what they want to put out there is that we're all ghetto and they want to use the term ratchet towards us and all this. And I'm like, that's not what's happening. That's not what I'm seeing. And they take care of their kids. Trust me, in my career, I've seen a lot of people with kids. And when I tell you they don't take care of their kids, they just have them, it's frustrating. So for me, I go to these southern states and I see a lot of black women taking care of their kids and the baby's quiet and it's like peace. They're at peace and their kid is at peace. The energy is right. And then I see the interracial family, the energy is off. The energy is chaotic. And it's more so when the black man is there, chaotic. It's not peaceful. The energy is just nasty. I'm like, what did y'all decide to have a kid and didn't care? It's nasty energy. when really it was just driven by PRN, sex, and fetishism. It wasn't driven by actually having love. It was driven by the racist fetish of sex with a white person. And it creeps me out. I know men who were like this, who had that fetish in their head. Can't really talk to them now to figure out what's wrong with them and why they thought this way, but it is a crappy thing that's in the male black head. And I don't know how to get it out. I don't know what to do. I don't know the questions to ask to like I wish there was like a therapy session for black men to understand why they are so racist when it comes to sex, when it comes to having sex with a woman, when it comes to just being a black man. What is wrong with you? What are your thoughts? Because I'm just
Well, I think that misogyny in itself is inherently racist, and I feel like, especially when you're talking about corn, because men are pushed so much in the direction of, you're not a man if you don't watch this, or you're not a man if you don't consume this, or if you don't have like intercourse, or you don't do certain things or whatever, you're not a man. And I feel like, you know, through at least in America's history, I mean, this happens worldwide, but specifically in America's history, the like femination of like black men throughout slavery and all this stuff, this did not happen a long time ago. Like, this is very recent history, very, very recent history. And the way that, I feel white people, especially white men, feel intimidated by the masculinity of blackness, like male blackness. They want to make them feel less than. And if they're not doing the same things, they'll make you feel like you're not a masculine man. If you're not going after uh supposed white femininity, which isn't even a real thing, but it's like if you're not going after that, you're not chasing these things that they're putting out into the media as corn, this is what you should be looking at, this is what you should be doing, this is on the first page of Cornhub, this is that, this is whatever, this is what we abuse, this is what our wives, we abuse them. If you're not doing that, you're not a real man. So like when you're equating masculinity with whiteness and equating success with whiteness or with money, which is whiteness, like if you're equating that, you're just inherently going to hate yourself. You're going to be racist towards your own people because it is like, self-depreciation to basically do those things, you know?
yeah. Well, what is something hopeful that we have, or, like, I have so much hope. Like, I am attracted to
Mhm.
black people. I'm like beautiful. Like, I'm a gorgeous black girl. I'm hot as shit. I don't care. I love being black. What is something that, like, you know, you have hope for, or a place we can just find hope? For me, I'll be honest and say traveling is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to travel
Mhm.
more. I don't really find love when I travel like people do. They have these stories. I don't really find anybody. I just have my books, which I'm still trying to read. I literally read like one page a day. This is a good book. It's about
It's
black
insane.
love. It's called The Kiss Countdown. It's been through stuff. Literally today, I accidentally got a little bit of
Girl.
lemon bleach wipe on it because the lemon bleach wipe was not in a bag in my suitcase. So it's been through a lot, but that kind of makes it good. It makes it feel rustic. But I
That
try to read
book,
a
by the
page a
time
day.
you
That's the
get to
least
the
I
you're
could
not
do.
even gonna finish it, it's gonna deteriorate before the time you
But I
finish
kinda
it.
like it though. I love reading just a page a day. It makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
So far I'm at a good point. I'm at chapter 18. I'm a slow reader. I'm a slow reader, but I like to be on a beach and read. I like to be in a cozy corner and read, apartment. Like I like to be cozy when I read. I don't like to just read to kill time. I like to be cozy. Like it's like a cozy situation, not a situation where I'm trying to, beat time. Like I just feel like drenched. I just don't want to be on my phone all the time. But um I still have like these books really help me have hope for black love, these type of stories. I feel like I
Yeah.
want to have hope for black love and blackness where a black woman does not have everything yet, but a black man can still appreciate who she is. And I've seen it through a lot of artists and painters and musicians. Yes, we've seen it. Jacob Lawrence is one of them. Like I said, Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, those NBA players. but I don't want black love like this to be ancient. I want to bring up a new couple. I want to bring up, hi from Brazil.
Brasil.
I want to bring up a new couple. I want to bring up like I gotta find it, but I'm not chronically online. Ludamia is a black couple, like they're a black couple that
Mhm.
I love, Brazilian. But it's just like I don't want to give up. I don't want to, see that black men come into wealth, which is very fortunate. I'm happy for them. And it's like you have to leave black people behind. It like makes me want to cry. It's like, what is wrong with you? Why? Why are you doing that? You're not ugly. Black
Yeah,
people are not ugly. Why do these black men that go into wealth or come into wealth and are very fortunate? Good for you. You became an actor. You became this, that. Great. Why is it that all of a sudden it's like finally I can hate black people? Why? Like just stop. You don't have to do that. I
yeah,
watched Married to Medicine and like I said, older couples, older generations understood the value of being with a black person and growing. Like, you know what I mean? Especially when it
yeah,
comes to a woman. It's okay to be with a black woman and be like, I got you. I don't care. You're my everything. You're my. And I don't want the narrative to be you have to be with a poor black man to be loved. That shouldn't,
mhm,
struggle love is not a thing and it shouldn't be, catered to. It just shouldn't be. I don't think that it should be talked about like it's real because it's really not. Having love for black people doesn't mean struggle love. So yeah, I do things alone a lot of the times. This Valentine's Day I'm actually taking off. Um like a week to try to go somewhere because Valentine's Day is not fun for me. It's very depressing. Every Valentine's Day just gets worse and worse. It reminds me of how I'm alone. So I'm just gonna go somewhere. I don't know where yet, but I'm just gonna go somewhere and just traveling has been my biggest thing. I feel like, dating's always gonna be there. People are gonna be there. This job's gonna be there. Money's always gonna be there. It gets replaced. Who cares? But traveling is something that you can't really get back and I'm fortunate to have. So I'm just gonna go places, but it is hard. Like it's good and bad. I will say yes, it's hard because when I travel, not a lot of people have the courage to talk to me. I have to talk to them first, which I'm fine with. But as a black girl, it's like I do deserve to be talked to first. I don't just deserve to have people have the guts over the internet. Maybe it's just, what I've been experiencing. It may not even because I'm black. Maybe just black men don't talk to people. I don't know what it is. But I also feel like everyone's married too. So it's like hard to navigate the waters of dating when it comes to traveling. But that's what I'm trying to do. Travel and read my books. It kind of helps, but it is tough. What do you
mhm.
think?
Traveling without me again. I get it.
I know I'm going to Japan. I already booked my flight.
In February?
No, January.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know you were going somewhere in February. We trying to save.
I don't know where I'm going, but I decided to take that week off because it's very depressing for me. I get so every year it's been getting worse, like very worse that I'm just not in a relationship. I don't get like the balloons, the flowers, the dinner. So I just want to be somewhere where Valentine's Day doesn't exist.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, we have to stop like holding these corporate holidays up like to this crazy standard. Like, so many people's relationships are so bogus and just so superficial, and it's just not worth it to be upset about that. Like, the fact that you can even go somewhere like on the drop of a hat and be okay with that and just go and explore something is so valuable. Like, that's something that will last. Like, flowers sorry to curse. Flowers fucking
It's
die,
okay.
like,
You can curse. Who
people
cares?
leave, like, people leave, flowers die, people lie, people cheat, like, you can't do that to yourself. So it's just, like, to be able to take yourself somewhere is so valuable and important, and it's just, like, you get to explore things that so many people, coupled up or not, like, have not been able to have the privilege to do in their lifetime just because of like the profession you're in, also just because it's you, like, because even before you had this job, like, you were still doing what you want to do and traveling the world. So like that's a very I think also it's important to note that a lot of people can't really do that on their own or don't feel comfortable doing that on their own. So it makes sense that people in other places are often married or they have relationships because it's like they don't feel comfortable doing things alone, whether they like that person or not. Like, you feel like you have to have some kind of fucking bodyguard, like, it's weird. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because it is hard, like, traveling as a woman alone is hard, it is
It is
difficult.
hard.
but,
Yeah. I
like, you're
just noticed,
safe
like,
and you're
I try
smart
to,
and you're
like,
going to places, like,
I
doing
think
your
I need to stop
thing.
thinking about that dream moment. Sorry to cut you off. That dream moment of just meeting someone on a flight and being like, "Oh, this is my husband now. We met here." Like, I keep thinking of this dream moment and it's just not happening, so I feel weird.
Well, the thing is, here's my thing. You will never know what happens, but however you meet somebody that ends up being in your life and staying in your life is not like it doesn't make them better or worse for how you meet them. Unless
Yeah.
it's like you meeting them in like uh, 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 I don't want to say the club, but like, like you meeting them in like a dumb place, like that's different. But like, you never know when or how, and I just don't think that it makes someone more or less special where you meet or where you talk to them or how you talk to them. Like, you're an individual, and it's the same thing, like, if the roles were reversed and, you know, what your worth is regardless of where somebody met you, like, which is why I think it's cool, like, you talk to people everywhere we go, doesn't
I
matter
do.
where
It's
it
so
is.
easy to talk to women though. I've been
Yeah,
I feel like
I mean,
when I
it's
look at
true.
black men, it looks like they think I'm gonna like, off them or something. Or when they're around me, I told you the interaction I had. So
Mhm,
at my job, I had an interaction with a black guy and it was a situation where I work with a lot of white people. I was the only black person and he just was so rude to me. Like he gave me no respect. Hi, I hope you're doing well, Avery. He gave me no respect, like or little respect compared to the white person. And it was a situation where he was the servant. I'll say that's what his role was, and not even
mhm.
trying to throw shade. He was the servant to me and the other white people I was with. And I could feel the tension. And then the next day I saw him again. He was the servant again. Um, and I asked him, I said, "Are you okay?" I usually don't say that because when people say, "Are you okay?" I'm like, they're being dramatic. But I was like, "Are you okay? How are you? Like, are you sure? Are you okay?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Where you from? Like, you seem so mad and sad." And he just looked so angry. And then he said he's from Virginia. I said, "Do you like it here?" Which we weren't in Virginia, but I was like, "Do you like it here?" And he was like, "It's okay." And I was like, "Okay, all right." So, then I'm moving on. We're still in this servant position where I'm above him, he's below me. And he passes by me again and he gave me the nastiest stare, this black man. And I was like, what in the heck did I do to him? But let's flash back because I said good morning to him and he said morning. He stared at me and said morning, but didn't really say much. And he could have said so many words when we've interacted to be helpful, to be the servant he was, but he didn't. And then all of a sudden, my white coworkers come out and he's like, "Good morning, sir. How are you? How are you today? Good morning, sir. Good morning." And I'm like, did this nigga like what? The energy shifted.
Mhm.
I was like in front of my face. I was like, yo. And then flash forward, that's when he gave me the nasty stare when I'm sitting there with my colleagues, like we're on a higher position than him. And I'm like, what the heck? And I definitely didn't tip him. That's all I had to say. It was a
Did they
type of
tip him?
service where he could have been tipped. I did not tip his ass. I was not tipping his
Did
ass at
they?
all. Huh?
Did they tip him?
Oh, two of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
But they
that's
were
why he
supposed
doing
to.
that
These
though. I feel like
people have a
I
higher
mean, they should because 'cause
income
they're,
than
like, the
me.
pilots or whatever, but I'm like, I feel like that's why they do that too. It's so, like, sad though, like, you really are acting, shucking and jiving to get money from white people because you I feel like it's
And
true
so a
though,
lot of
like
people don't tip, by the way. A lot of people don't tip.
Mhm.
A lot of
Yeah.
them, which they don't have to, but it's just the fact that you're gonna act this way. It's just you don't even
Mhm.
know. I could have gave you $20. That's all I'm saying. You
Exactly.
don't know. You don't know. Why do you and because my career has been really good, I've actually been tipping people at the food restaurants, not fast food, the little private food companies I go to, the little ones that are
Yeah.
they're not franchises, but they're smaller places, and I know their employees are
Yeah.
underpaid. I give them like, a dollar or two, and they're very shocked because we usually press no. We're like, no,
I
this is
know.
America,
Been doing
no.
that too
But
recently when I go to, like, a
lately
small
I've been
place.
feeling in the
Yeah.
holiday mood, the holiday spirit. My life is better financially. And they've been saying thank you to me. They've actually been they look like they're like, oh my God, like you actually tip. I'm like, yeah. I actually have something for once. Like I've always said, I'm the type of person when I have something, I give it. And I say that for my friends. All my friends that have helped me, when I have like 100K, 200K in the bank, yeah, you best believe it's gonna be gone because I will be giving things to my friends. I just am not that person that when I have something, I don't care. But that's a whole nother topic. But yes, that's what I was trying to say. Like I'm like the shucking and jiving, but also I'm glad that we touched on
Mhm.
that. You don't know what I could have gave you, sir. You looked at my skin, my hair. Also, maybe because I was natural. Also, I'm cutie. Like, I don't know. I was like, he was too much. Like, I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
He
that's
was
crazy.
angry at me. I didn't even know who he was.
That is crazy though.
You okay? Did it cut out? Let me see. Um, are you still there? All right.
Sorry,
Oh,
can you hear
she's
me?
back. Yeah, you're back now.
My fault. I'm back. What was I saying? I just
Yeah.
said it was crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like too, there's a lot of jealousy in that, like, y- you're both working some kind of service job. However, imagine like, imagine too, like he's driving around these people all day, knowing their lives, hearing their conversations, hearing what they get to do with their benefits, the money that they get from this job. Like I do feel it is a lot of jealousy, and I think that's the problem where people need to stop like having jealousy for other people that are in your community. Like you need to, and it's not like, not having jealousy for like a celebrity. Like people who are celebrities to that extent, you're exploiting yourself and you're exploiting other people, and that's why they tend to turn their backs on themselves and other people, because it's so easy to like enter a white space exploiting yourself. It's
Like Nicki Minaj.
hard.
Let's
It's
let's
hard
get into that.
when it's hard when you're a Z-Way, it's hard when you're a Doechii, but they've done
That's
it.
how I feel.
It's hard when you're even a like Rihanna, but like they've done it. And that's the problem is like it's not impossible to keep your blackness or maintain your culture, even like Bad Bunny or someone like that. Like it is not hard. But like you can see moments where people have done it and maybe regretted it, which is what I think is happening to Tyler the Creator right now. But like that's what happens to a lot of people. It's like, they've done it. They get to a certain point where it's like they do that. They turn their backs on themselves and then they regret it. Or they just go full charge and then it's like they're still broke anyway, so they have to keep up this facade for these
Nicki
white
Minaj.
people. Yeah, because it's like her album's flop. So like therefore she's going to
Hmm.
do this stuff, and it's like, she doesn't want to be on the same side as Cardi B in my opinion, because there's this weird rivalry stuff
Meanwhile, when
going
I tell you,
on.
sorry to cut you off, when I tell you I'm gonna make a video and I was putting the pictures of her together from this
Yeah.
interview, um, I thought it was Cardi. Like I was looking at the photo and I was like, is that Cardi B? Like I was like, oh my god, they look alike. It's so bad.
Low key, yeah. Sometimes they be doing, yeah. But it's just interesting. I'm like, that's why she's doing this. Like, because I feel I don't know what Cardi B's citizenship status is, but I feel like she is because she was raised in New
I think
York.
she's a citizen.
So I think she is a citizen. But it's just interesting because I'm like, you know, Nikki has spoken out before about Donald Trump, I believe, because she didn't
Mhm.
like his immigration, like his stance on immigration, because she herself is an immigrant and a non-citizen. So, but now I feel like because you're feeling the pressure of all this ICE stuff going on, like you are really feeling pressured. And I think it's that, and it's also this weird Christianity thing that she has going on in her head, because her talking about like the Nigerian stuff going on right now, and I learned more about it, and it's basically just like it's propaganda. It's conservative propaganda in America, because there is no I don't know if we could say that word. The G word. War, whatever. Christian
Yeah,
war
yeah, we'll
going
say that.
on. Christian war going on where Christians are being targeted. It's not really true. Like it's more so people are just being targeted indiscriminately, but the half of them happen to be Christian, half of them are Muslim. Like there is no war going on that's targeting Christians, but conservatives, of course, in America are going to like grasp onto that to make you think that they care about Black people and Black Christians because they
Mhm.
know that a lot of Black Americans in America are what? Christian. So it's like that's how you feel like you can garner some support from that, which is like doesn't really work for people because like how many people actually know what's going on there? Nobody. But like of course Nicki Minaj is gonna act like she knows what's going on when she doesn't. So I just think it's
Mhm.
interesting that, you wanna act political when it only serves you because you are afraid of being deported. You can't even vote. So it's just very interesting. It's not a coincidence that she's only talking about this now. She's not very politically she's not smart. She doesn't know really anything that's going on, whether in America or somewhere else. Like I really don't think that she understands anything. So I just think it serves
Yeah,
her
she
because
also
she's
looks
afraid.
crazy, like a psychopath, like,
She
what's going
does,
on in her head?
she looks unhinged, and I think that's
She
the
looks
thing is a lot of
unhinged, like,
a
she's
lot
just,
of
like,
people have
talking,
been
like
saying that. I remember she got into beef with SZA online because I don't even know why, she didn't say anything bad, but, like, she just started an argument, and SZA was like, "Are you okay?" Like, just it's just interesting, like, she's kinda becoming, I would say, an Azalea Banks, like,
yeah,
just
that's how I feel, like Kanye
being
West.
yeah, being, like it's like you feel like you were so woke at the time and you were so ignored that you were deciding to become so conservative, to flip
And
the
I think
script
about
and
the
act like
Barbs. What
that's
do you
being
think is going
woke.
to happen with the Barbs are quiet.
The Barbies are quiet, they're
They're
confused,
quiet.
they're
They're not agreeing with her, but they're quiet, and I
yeah,
wanna know
because
what's going
I just
on.
think I think
I'm
they're
surprised. The
starting to
Barbs are never
feel
quiet.
really stupid because it's like you have defended this woman through all of her messy decisions, her bad decisions, her decisions to be with the P word, her brother who was doing all this stuff and went to jail for a CA. Like, you are defending this woman for every single thing that she's done. The things that she said about Meg the Stallion, the things that she said about
Yeah, now
every other
everybody wants to be
person.
like they're on the side of Meg Thee Stallion, which we've always been on the side of Meg Thee Stallion,
Mhm.
but I can even admit that when it came to the beef with her and Cardi, I did take Nicki's side, but now I will say I'm upset at taking Nicki's side because this is what she's doing. And I shouldn't have taken
Yeah.
any side, but I still
Right.
feel that Cardi B is not any better than Nicki. I don't
No.
like them equally, but if you were to put them in front of my face, I were to be with Nicki. But now that she's done this, and same thing with Amber Rose. Now that
Yeah.
her she's done this, now that Amber Rose has done this, I'm allowed to cut ties. You don't feel stupid and don't feel bad. This is so random and stupid. It is
Yeah.
not your fault that you did not see this person was going to be a racist Trump supporter. I feel like when people lose their money, that's when they go to Trump. And
Mhm.
here, listen, you could have your vote, you could do what you want to do, you can stand for who you want to stand for, but I do have the right to not support you. That's why I say, even when it comes to making this content, that's why I know we're gonna get off topic, but I just want to say this. That's my issue with content creation for me and other Black people is that we're allowed to disagree. We're allowed to not have the same stands, but please stop watching it. When it comes to someone being Black and liberal, people who are not, watch the content, get upset, and start harassing, bullying, and taunting. It's insane. Do you see me going to the conservative side of the internet talking ish, going through their stuff? I hate you. Da, 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 da. We don't do that. The liberals do not do that. We don't. So sorry, what's your thought on just what I said? Like that's been my biggest issue and why I don't think this country can move
Yeah.
forward.
Because it's more so about how triggered they get. Like, you can tell when you trigger somebody so badly that they're gonna make, comments and harass and do all this other stuff because
We don't
something has
do
hit
I
a
can't say
nerve,
speak for a
and
whole, but we don't do
I
that.
I do feel though that like that is also why people like Nicki Minaj end up MAGA or Amber Rose because somebody, specifically a Black person, has said something to them about their behavior being problematic and them saying, well, it also used to be interesting because woke used to be such a good term, but people have destroyed that term and made it feel cringy. They've made it feel bad to be woke
I'm
when
too
it's
woke. I
not.
don't want to be too woke. I'm like, what do you mean?
Exactly.
Woke was a
So
good word.
now that they've done that, they've tried to destroy like that liberation movement for black people by saying woke is a bad term when it just meant you were socially aware of what is going on in systemic racism. That's really what that means. But it's more so like some black person has said something to them, and I feel like for Amber Rose it was Jocelyn, and for
It's Jocelyn.
for
Jocelyn ate
for
that one, not
Nikki,
gonna lie.
who knows who it was for Nick? Probably a bunch of people, but like something has been bothering her, and she seems like a hermit. I'm sorry, but she seems like she's in her house on the internet all day looking at hate comments. She's one of those people, and she can never just put down the phone. I feel like because she's always on live talking ish and just doing too much, and she sounds crazy. And I don't think that she isn't. She's probably ill. I don't want to say anything because I'm not no psychologist, but I do think that
Doesn't
something
matter.
is
She does
wrong
seem
with
ill.
her.
Something's wrong with her. She got a tattoo on her forehead.
She does. Yeah,
Like, who does
something's
these
wrong with
things? That
Nikki.
is right in the head.
I, I'm just saying something's wrong with Nikki. Like I just think that something is off with her. And I think that this is her coping mechanism. And also she feels for some reason that she's getting back at whoever has hurt her feelings and said too much, has struck a chord. And I think that probably started happening when she got with this man that she was with, or probably long before that. She's
I
always
know
been
Kanye and was it Wiz
problematic.
Khalifa? I don't even think Wiz
Mm.
Khalifa was as terrible. I don't know him, but I do think Kanye was terrible. I think Wiz Khalifa was just giving her the
Wait, who are we talking? Are you talking about Amber? Or are you talking about Nikki?
Amber.
Oh,
I
I'm
think
talking
her,
about
yeah, her
Nikki.
kid is with Wiz Khalifa, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, I'm talking about
What you
Nikki,
call it?
but
I just
yeah,
think she became a stereotypical light skinned female or whatever, get pregnant and you're a nobody. You did that to
sure, yeah.
yourself. That was your
Mhm.
fault. You did that to yourself. And now it's like I just think everybody's running tight on money. Going to Zeus
Oh, yeah.
Network, going to Trump. They're running tight on money. And it's because of the situation that Trump has put people in. I would say that I'm not gonna say respectfully, I would say that it's true. He's put people in such a distress, like this country is going to shit. And I'm like, do I just leave? I don't want to leave my home. I don't want to make people
Mhm.
make me leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think at the same time it's weird because it's like, I don't always think it's the answer. Like, yes, it might be safe in some circumstances for people, like, especially if your home country is, like, war torn, there's literally no opportunity, I get that, but it's just, like, it's hard because I do think there are privileges that we have here that we can't get in other places, but at the same time, we do have a history that needs to be repaired and talked about and have reparations for. I don't think I think too, sometimes when people look at other countries and say, it's better to live here, you should live in Europe, they don't take into consideration the homogeny of the society. They don't take into consideration the history itself or why those countries they act a certain way. And I just think, slavery has been the hugest stain on our history that we can't get rid of. We can't remove that from our history, and people want to pretend it didn't happen because it's disgusting. It's abhorrent. So it's like you can't just pretend because you don't like what you did,
Yes,
and
that's how I feel.
make people feel like, just gaslight them into thinking that there are no consequences to what has happened in the past, because there certainly are, and there will continue to be until people, wake up to that, which I think though, like, it is necessary to say that a lot of young kids, despite the propaganda and media and despite people feeling like, kids are stupid, they're really not. A lot of young kids are protesting. They know what's going on. They have podcasts talking about world events. They're in politics. They're in social, justice. Like, there are children who are growing up in this era and wanting to change. They don't want to just sit there and do nothing. So I feel like, there are two sides to every story, and I don't think that that side is being told as much because it's scary for white people to think that they are going to be like, ran out, essentially. Like, I just feel like
Yeah.
white people are scared. They're scared of, like, that's literally like, what was it? When I was watching a video about like Guyana and about how their government did not want the Guyanese people to listen to Black Panther movements because they felt it was going to inspire them. So they didn't want to translate things, but they learned English and they knew what they were saying. So it was just like, you know, and vice versa. Like it was the same thing. They didn't want people to feel connected to each other, you know? So it's just very interesting. Like they don't want people to feel community even though it still exists. Like you can't forget that something still exists because the moment you do, they're winning. You know, they want you to feel like black people don't like each other. They want you to feel like it's hopeless, but it's not. Like people want change. They want change just as much as you, if not more. Like people want change, especially young people. They see what's happening, you know, with gun violence, with all this stuff happening in the US. They want change. They don't want to stay like this. Nobody wants this, you know?
I agree. I agree with that, and I'm glad you said that because a lot of things you say, like my best friend looks up so much stuff and does research more than I do, so that's why I felt like it was important to have her on here. Um, and it does make me feel good that you say that because I literally see interracial content that makes me feel like, black love will never exist again. It doesn't feel great. You see actors that were in black love stories in
Mhm.
movies that actually in real life date white women only. And I'm like, what? Like it's a triggering response for me and many other women because it's like we just think to ourselves, what did we do wrong? That's what I immediately jump to. And it's a problem that I think a lot of us have where it's a good thing where we're just like, okay, let's assess what did we do to hurt this person. But then it's like in reality you didn't do anything. So that it's like it's a very triggering response. Like I've been trying to fix my algorithm. Like I love that you bring up meta and stuff. And
Mhm.
you talked about how they put out terrible things because they're like, terrible white people that are running it. And it's unfortunate. Like that's why I don't have Facebook. I don't, and people keep telling me to get a Facebook so I could find housing quicker. Like I could find an apartment quicker. And I'm just like, I don't want to go down. Instagram already frustrates me. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened. Maybe it's because I talk about it
Well,
and
they're
I'm
owned
listening.
also by Meta now. That's the problem. Like
Yeah.
Instagram is owned by Meta. So it is like a
That's why
big
I'm like,
issue.
I don't wanna get back on Facebook. I'm good.
Yeah.
My parent has the most conservative views, is such a Republican in my opinion, it's so nasty to me. I don't even I don't even wanna look at what's going on Facebook if it turned my black mother into a Republican, and it's nasty to me, so I don't even wanna go on there.
Yeah, it's hard, and I feel like the problem is like I mean, you probably won't be as affected. However, you know, it is hard for older people. I feel like it targets older people. The fact that, you know, AI is such a big thing. There's so many videos that are not real, so much news that's not real. And if you don't take the time to fact check, to look things up, to look up what something really is, you will be persuaded so easily. Like and it's not just old people, but old people are more susceptible, you know, which is why especially like I think people get surprised when like, you know, immigrant parents or something are so conservative. However, it's like it makes sense because often this is what they're on, this is what they're seeing. They're getting told that they might be replaced, you know. It makes them turn their back on themselves essentially, but they don't even understand what's really happening or what they're really being told. So that's why it happens to even the best of us, like older people, I would say, is and younger people too. But I would say that because younger people are a little bit more savvy at using things, it's different. But it still is like I feel like people are so quick to believe what they see that it just makes you want to, you know, believe everything. Unfortunately.
I agree. And I want to give out solutions again. I want to make
Mhm.
people believe again, but I've been
Yeah.
feeling so tarnished by like it's a lot and it sucks because me saying this makes other people feel good. Like once again, for the liberal black person, people that are racist watch our content and want to get joy off of bullying, harass, all this stuff. But as a liberal person, I know for a fact, majority of us do not go to their page of a conservative person, racist person, and just watch it and just, we don't do that. We don't, we don't do any of that weird stuff. And it sucks. Like, I'm glad that I watch other YouTubers because they show me how to handle hateful comments. They show me how to handle bots. They show me how to
Mhm.
handle bullies. They've shown me how to handle it and it also makes me feel like okay, I'm not alone. It is not you. It's not your fault. You're not alone. There's a lot of people that are dealing with really, 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 really terrible, terrible people in their comments, and you can't control it. The only way to control it would be to get off the internet. And that is what you want, and you cannot let them do that to you. So I'm fortunate that I have a best friend that really has gotten me out of it, Amanda. She's gotten me out of just being, like I'm just not going to create anymore, or which I haven't said, but it's been hard to just get on here and make a video. Before I used to get on here, I saw something happen, I was talking about it, boom, 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 bam. I was just going, and it's been so hard because I've been thinking about how are people going to take this? How are people going to think about this? Is anybody going to listen? Is anybody going to care? I
Mhm.
see a lot
Well,
of content that flourishes because the quality is good, the videos are good. Which I love, but I know why a lot of content is flourishing over mines. But then I think I should take a step back and understand what is flourishing. Is it a
yeah.
bunch of views and comments and subscribers, or is it the couple of people that you've always wanted to save? Like you've always wanted to care for. Do they mean nothing to you, Nia? And that's not true. Y'all mean everything to me. It's just like it does feel good when you see, all right, we're doing a little bit better. We're bringing some money in. We're doing this. Like finally, my dreams
Mhm.
are happening. I'm, making a career out of a living. Let me say a living, not a career. A living off of something that's meaningful to me. And it's not looking like that yet. I don't have thousands of dollars a month from YouTube.
Yeah, but I do think though it is something to be said that it's not that it isn't possible, but I think that it shouldn't be an end goal. As in, you say like is anyone gonna care about this? And I think that for you to care about it enough to want to talk on the internet and reach out to people who are like minded or to educate people is enough of a reason to do so. Like, it shouldn't have to be like,
Yeah.
I'm only gonna do something because somebody else cares and is telling me they care. If you care enough to come on the internet and talk about it, then that is reason enough. And nobody
Yeah.
has an original thought. No thought is ever original. So if you feel a type of way, best believe that there are hundreds, thousands, millions of people that feel the
I
same way
know.
that
I
you
just see
do.
those videos that go viral of the I'm 30 and single and I'm a loser. Like those videos
Bro.
go so viral and I'm just like
Because a lot of people, let me say, place
and then all
importance
of a
on
sudden they have a
things.
channel that has started.
Right. But then it never really I don't know, they never really do that well though afterwards, like, it's like yes and no, but it's also kinda like people yes, people get likes off of self-deprecation because a lot of people are not taught that being single is a good thing, that living on your own is a good thing, or, like, doing these things are a good thing for yourself. Like, that's the problem with it. It doesn't make you a loser, but people know that they can get clickbait off of that because it's like, "Oh, damn, does that make me a loser? Let me go watch this video." And then it's just like it's stupid. I just think that it doesn't really not that anybody that does that is bad per se, but it's more so like
No,
I
it's
just don't
it's
think it's
usually a good
realistic to tell
video.
people, you know, to exploit clickbait all the time. Like, you don't have to do that, you know?
Yeah, it's usually a good video. I just see, and I follow those people. Like I like them, but I just see it, and I'm like, ugh. If I were to make that, I really don't think it goes viral because the quality of my stuff is not good. Um, and I do feel like, I think people deserve good quality. I feel like it is hard nowadays. Like the entry for YouTube is so hard. I'm surprised I'm monetized because there's people who literally went viral that are not monetized yet, and I know because of their view count and I know because of the way their
Mhm.
account is set up, you can see when
Yeah.
when someone's monetized. It's like YouTuber
Well,
Insider, so I
that's
won't
also
say it,
what
but you
you have
just know.
to realize because it's kinda like just you saying that alone shows that virality does not really necessarily make people money all the time. Like, you can exploit yourself as much as you want, but it doesn't mean that, you know, you're gonna get what you thought you
Oh,
were
I
gonna
know.
get. Because oftentimes people are they continue to make videos after they go viral because they start to
Oh,
feel
that's
like, "I guess I have to make videos now, maybe I could do something with this," and then it's like, they're trying, they're trying, they're trying, they can't even get monetized. So it's just
mhm.
like, it doesn't necessarily mean any of that is really gonna happen. But I just think that's the point of YouTube, that's the point of the purpose of YouTube. Well, originally YouTube was like a dating site, which is crazy. But like
Right?
the way that YouTube was used, um, you know, later just by people who are posting moments, no thoughts behind it. I feel like we have to return to that version of social media where you're not worried about what people are going to say or do about things. I just feel like with the creation of the internet and with technology that's different. You know, I don't feel personally like people have changed. I just feel like technology makes people act the way that they did before in a different way only because it exists around us. So, like, you know, violence was always a thing, you know, e- everything like that is always a thing. But I just feel like the creation of technology makes it feel like it's worse only because we get to see it. Like we are just so like over flooded, overloaded with stimulation and all this
Love
stuff,
what
which is
that girl
why
said. We
it's
shouldn't
important
know
sometimes.
what people are doing.
We shouldn't know everything, and we don't have to know everything,
I
but,
met a really
you
cool
know
girl, and she was like, "We should not
yeah,
know what people are doing.
the
Like,
creation
this
of
is why
social
do we have to know
media.
somebody literally went to a
Yes.
cafe and had a bagel?" And
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about it, but because I'm about to make popcorn, and we're still going to continue this conversation. But I think it is really true. Like, why should we know? It doesn't
Mhm.
matter what people are doing. And I think what I want you to get started on, because I have to make my popcorn, is talking
Sure.
about what I've seen in media. We'll get into this topic. What I've seen in media is relationship content. And yes, maybe because I talk about it, I don't know.
I
I don't
mean,
know. Maybe
probably.
because I talk about it, but I've
I
seen
talked about
relationship
Walmart
content.
one time, and it came into my feed the next day. It's
Like
evil.
it's
They're listening to you,
it's
which is
very
true.
frustrating. I see relationship content where it's just like, if your man isn't doing this for you, look at my man, look at what he did, my man, look at my, and it doesn't make people feel good. It doesn't make me
Yeah.
feel good. So let's get into that. But let me make my popcorn. What are your thoughts on this content?
Yeah. As I said, I just think that a lot of social media in general, I'll go there, is very overstimulating. I don't feel like we are meant to like I watched it, let me take this also scientifically. Like I watched this video talking about how since the creation of social media, for the first time, like people have spent have scientists have found that people who are scrolling on like Instagram or Twitter or something like that are not going to have any like cognitive memory of what they even watch, maybe subconscious, but it's like you can be doing a long task and it feel very, feel very long at the same time, but not remember anything that you were doing. So it's like, this is what happens to us. We're overloaded with all this like stimuli, all this dopamine, all this content, propaganda, everything. And it really affects you subconsciously, consciously and subconsciously, but for the most part subconsciously, because everything is such a moment on social media. Unless you're like watching a movie, you're watching a long YouTube, a podcast or something like that, like everything is such a short moment because it's easy to make those things. It's easy for normal everyday people who don't really want to write a script, who don't want to think about their content, to make something very short and inauthentic. Like it's very easy to do that and it's very easy to consume that because everybody's busy, everybody's overworked, everybody's doing all this stuff. So, especially when it comes to relationship content, that's what happens, you know? Like relationship content I feel like is so popular because the idea of nuclear family is a popular idea. It's very pushed, it's propaganda as well. It's also capitalistic because the idea of making everybody feel like they need to not be in community anymore, to separate themselves from their families, to build a new family unit is very capitalistic. And people only ever really did that around the wartime because it made them money. They needed money to go to war. So it's like people don't understand where these misogynistic ideas come from, where these capitalistic ideas come from. And that happens a lot, like in everything that we do. And there's still like in our society and drenched in our society and the things that we watch, the things that we listen to, it's just very, very, very subtle. So oftentimes when we see all this stuff happening around us, we see this content, we don't really feel like it has a purpose, but it does because it's full of bias, implicit bias. It's full of all this propaganda, subconscious or conscious. You know, most creators are probably making this stuff not really thinking about what they're doing. However, it is like the mindset is still affected because systemic racism and systemic misogyny is still a thing. So if that has not disappeared from society, then it's going to be in the content that you watch, whether you like it or not. Even if you don't want to consume this stuff, you're going to see it because it's monetized. People pay for promotion, people pay for all this stuff to be seen by everyone. So it makes sense that, we are just so overstimulated with it. And it makes us feel like shit. It makes us feel like we're not doing enough because guess what? When we don't feel good about what we're watching, we think it's a problem within ourselves. It makes us feel like something is wrong with us. Therefore, maybe we need to spend money on a surgery. Maybe we need to spend money on this. Maybe we need to date a white person. Maybe we need to exploit ourselves. Maybe we need to go into OF. Maybe we need to, like it makes you think all these things that basically they can profit off of you for. So please let's talking. Well, how about you? I don't know, remove your eyes. Remove your eyes, remove your ears. What do you mean? So like what do you think is gonna happen when you go on the internet and you listen to a video? Like, do you just wanna go deaf? I don't understand. So rude. Please apologize. Please apologize for asking you to go deaf. I don't think that I will. But yeah, I just think that that's the case. Even this right here, y'all be on the internet, don't want to listen to anything that you have to see. This is exactly why short form content goes so viral because you don't have an attention span. You don't have any attention span anymore to look at something for 10
Thanks for
minutes,
taking
30
the comment
minutes.
off. I didn't see it.
Oh, sure. I mean, it was dumb. Nobody has any attention span anymore to look at anything and perceive anything, to fact check anything. Please do. Please
Please
do.
do. Then why are you watching it, ugly?
Exactly, because you're in love with
Just
me.
say that for real. Like, knowing you look a hot mess. Why are you watching it?
You're in love
Those are
with me.
weird.
And that's the thing. You probably feel triggered. And that's the thing, that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. People feel triggered. You're wasting your time doing this stuff when you could be like, I don't know, touching grass or something, you know? Touch some grass. Get outside.
Yeah, sorry. I
That's
understand
just
when
as
people.
important.
That's why I really love watching Brooke Ashley's lives because she goes through so much bullying and has a good community, and it
Mhm.
shows me that it even happens to her, and she's very
Mhm.
successful. So I'm glad I watched them.
It happens to everybody on the internet because people, like I said, don't have attention spans, probably don't go outside. Like, Kevin Garcia is probably in his home, in his crusty little
Mm-hmm.
room with
With
a
a
crusty
sock,
sock
ugly,
somewhere,
ugly ass.
and burning his eyes on the blue light screen. Hasn't been outside in a decade in a little
Yep,
gaming chair
yep.
that's has holes in it. So that's okay. That's okay. Live your life, but don't take it out on anybody else because we're saying the truth. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Thank
but
you.
as I was saying, I just think it has a lot to do with um, technology is such a big part of our lives now that I think there are good and bad things to anything, especially technology. I think technology has also been able to make things very transparent for people that, there are things that we cannot avoid, whether it's some kind of war, some kind of, I'm gonna say G word because war and G word is not the same thing, but I probably can't say that online. Um,
Fine.
all this stuff, like it makes things very apparent. And I think that's what's important about social media is that, there are things that we cannot look away from anymore. And I think that that's just how it is. Like that's why it's so important because, if when social media wasn't a thing, it was so easy to lie to people, to lie to the people, to conceal things, to change a narrative, to rewrite a textbook. And we see that, even Trump is trying to do that now, rewrite a textbook, change history basically. Um, thank you. Rewrite history basically, and it's like you simply can't, because at some point, even if you did that, these kids are going to grow up on social media and still be able to see that you're lying. So it's like it's just interesting. There are certain things that you can't do anymore because social media exists, in a good and a bad way. I do think that it's good in the fact that you could basically say anything that you want. Yes, there's consequences for that. However, it's also like we've been able to see so much turmoil happen around the world and in our own country because of a camera, because of social media, because of people saying this needs to be seen, this cannot be hidden anymore. And I think that is the power of any individual that we all have to be able to do that. Like that in itself is journalism. And I agree with you when you talked before about how people, it's very hard to do that nowadays because there's so much backlash because of racism. But at the same time, it's like you still can, regardless of a consequence, you still can. And I think that's what everybody needs to do. It's like one of those things, you can't arrest us all, and that's the importance of community in itself. You can't arrest us all. We have to stick together in order to change things. Um, and I think that goes beyond legal battle as well. Like you're not always going to be change a law because the system itself is broken, but you can change people. You can do that. You can inform people. Yeah. Did you finish
Sorry,
eating your
I muted
popcorn?
myself because I was like, I don't want you to hear me munching.
That's okay.
But I agree with you. I'm glad you talked about that because it's really hard for me to put it into words because I experience it. You see it. You're my best friend. You're Puerto Rican, but you are aware that you present as a white person, and you see what I've gone through. We've been through so much. We've been friends for maybe 7 years now.
It's been a long time.
And you've seen what I've gone through. Instead of being like, I don't want to, and let's get into that. Instead of being like, I don't want to be friends with you because you experience racism and it's just too much for me. I don't want to deal with it. You didn't go that route. You decided
Mhm.
to say, hey, this is wrong what they're doing to you. You're such an amazing person. I love who you are. I'm going to stand beside you and tell them to shut the fuck up. And I appreciate that and love that. But when it comes to black men in our society and generation, it's like they see the racism that black women experience and they're just like, you know what? I deal with enough racism, so I'm just gonna be with a white person.
Mhm.
That is the most awful thinking in the world.
And it never
It's
helps because
disgusting.
looking at all these examples and media of people who, you know, like say the answer was as simple as dating a white person and just getting the money, all the money in the world. Say that was the answer, then why are these people offing themselves? Why are these people offing other people? Why are these people so angry? Like it doesn't make no sense actually. It makes perfect sense. But I just think that when you try to place a narrative that one thing is so quote unquote desirable, it doesn't make sense to watch it be the opposite because I'd be looking like I would never want that to happen to me and I'm white present. Like, why would I ever do that to myself? That's crazy. So it's just like, I just think it's interesting when people that's why I feel like these people who do this try so hard to push a narrative and make black women feel like they are undesirable when it's not true because they're so upset that it's like it doesn't really feel that good to just be with a white person who doesn't like you. It doesn't feel good, and it doesn't feel good to have that much money and not know what to do with yourself and not actually help other people out. There's no way in this world you can tell me that it feels good to sit there in a mansion alone, lonely, have money
Hmm.
in your pocket or whatever the case is, or in an asset, and not do anything but drugs or whatever you're doing. Have a party with people who don't like you and don't know you. That doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Like luxury does not feel good when people are homeless and starving. It doesn't feel good for anybody unless you're a sadist. So I just think, and not everybody is like that, which is why I think that celebrities crack. Like they crack under pressure. They get so angry because it's like they don't understand why I got all this stuff. I have everything. Why am I still sad and depressed and upset and angry? Because behind closed doors how they are being treated by white counterparts and the people that are their bosses, the people that own them, everyone. They don't treat them like human. You are an object to them. You are being exploited. So it's like it's just so it's not as simple as looking at somebody and being like, "Wow, they have it all. I wish I was like that. I wish I had money too." It's never as simple as that. It really isn't. I just there's not really a world that I could see that that's beneficial for anybody.
And I feel like black women do have money. I just feel
Mhm.
like what I see in media is that black men don't want to build
Mhm.
on that money with a black woman. They don't want to build on it. They want to take from a white
Right.
person in case things fall apart.
Right. It's
And
about
that's why I feel
also
like
yeah.
I'm gonna make a video about Wendy because watching her in this new video, recent episode, which we'll watch, it was a good episode. It was a good episode, and I could have not seen an arrest coming for Wendy, but seen something coming for Wendy because of how her family is going when it comes to money and the treatment.
Mhm.
Literally, it's the same situation with me. Not saying I would be arrested. I'm just saying same situation with me of your family just being so strict on money and nasty about it. It just drives you insane. It does.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's the
It drives you
problem.
insane.
That's the
Sorry.
problem too, like with prioritizing money and, money being the example for poor people, And Wendy's not poor, but let me say that she feels insecure about her money. Because of how her parents have made her feel, and I know for a fact that Nigerians are very extravagant people. They're very capitalistic, a lot of them. Um, and I will say that that's just, you know, it's sad, but it's true that like I would say like some West African countries like that are just very capitalistic because of the influence of neocolonialism and things like that in their society. Um, which is why most of the people that are over here that we meet that are African are like Nigerian, Ghanaian, they're West African usually. But that's the problem. I feel like money has such an effect on people by telling poor people that if you just had money, you'd be okay. It's not the answer when the system itself is racist or misogynistic because like, we see how people even in power, in positions of power and political positions or people with so much amounts of money, whatever, how they are still treated at the end of the day. And that's like the
Yeah.
same thing of who was it? Like even I forget who it was, but some black actor who was a cast member, or like even certain minority people being pulled over by ICE and things like that. They're famous, they have money, they're not poor, they might have a house, several cars, they might have the perfect life, so to speak. And they're still getting detained by ICE, they're still getting searched, they're still getting put in jail, they're still getting pulled over at traffic stops unwillingly or wrongfully.
But the thing is that black men think that these white people or anyone that's close to whiteness can
Mhm.
protect them and that it's
Right.
likable. I saw a Instagram reel, unfortunately, of a overweight white woman with a 6 foot black guy. It's like the same stereotype. And
Mhm.
she cared about nothing about her aesthetic and her children. It all she cared about was her face, getting facelifts, getting taking pictures of her like her big butt and taking pictures of how massive her butt is in the mirror and
Right.
a black man standing behind her and having a black baby. That's
Mhm.
it. That's all it was, and I feel like that's all people on Instagram care about, and it has definitely tarnished my reality of seeing a black man as an individual. Like that specific interracial couple makes me very disgusted with America because they're already fat phobic, but they're only fat phobic if you're
Mhm.
black. That's
Mhm.
not okay. You shouldn't be
Yeah, I
fat
mean,
phobic, period. But why are you fat
yeah.
phobic when people are black? You talk about diseases black people have and
Right.
cholesterol and
Mhm.
all this, but there's fat
Mhm.
white women that are sitting up here with the Negro, a nigga.
Yeah.
So please miss me with that
No, it's
shit.
true though. And I think that's the problem though. Like that's why people bring it up as like these women often are this way because they're not desirable to white men. Like, white men conventional beauty standards are technically people who look like children. Very skinny, very small, if you're talking about white Aryan people with blue eyes, whatever, and they look like little kids hairless, all the traits that European beauty standards
Mhm.
technically are I would say, I can't say the term, but, like, they look like children.
Mhm.
So, that's
We s
not,
we say pedo.
a coincidence. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Philic. Um, it's not a coincidence that that's the case, and I think, we're all messed up in the head because of that, because we are aiming to, change our bodies to look more like children. However, there's been such a turnaround. The opposite end of the spectrum is, seen as the BBL body, seen as something that's so overtly sexual, that
Mhm.
that's kinda what it is. Like, you have to either look like a child or be the most sexualized type of body that you can be as a woman. You can't be anything in between. And often, though, for white people, like, women who are considered overweight by their standards are not desirable. So, oftentimes, that is what happens. I feel like those are, like, the leftovers that end up getting pushed to different communities, because that's the only white women that they could really get access to. So it's not a
But even
coincidence
when
in
we
my
say
mind.
that the way you said it makes people think and make me feel not even you didn't mean it. Like
Mhm.
it's a prize to get a white woman. You see what I'm saying? Because you said they
No, I
only
understand
get
what you're saying.
access to the fat ones. Not even trying to be rude, but I'm just
Right.
saying the over. Let me say overweight, right? So therefore, the other ones is something that is a prize and a treasure. When it's like, no, it's not. It's just still
It's
something
not.
that
Yeah.
is not in your realm because of
Mhm.
racism. It's not
Yes.
because it's a prize, it's because of racism, and you shouldn't
Yes.
really care about it.
I agree. And I didn't mean it to
Because
sound like
like I
that,
said, sorry,
but
but when
it's
it comes to black women dating, dating outside our race, I've always felt it was not from a racist standpoint, and it's always felt
mhm.
like the man was taking on our culture.
Right.
When black men date outside their race, the white woman does not care, or whatever woman
Mhm.
that's not black does not give two
Right.
shits about the culture. You don't even see them hang around black
Yeah.
women. You don't even see them say anything kind about black women. That's my issue. It's
And it's
not interracial dating
also
as a
yeah.
whole. That specifically is
Mhm.
my issue when it comes to gender and interracial dating. There is a
Yeah.
mix up there.
And also the reason why that is because usually the black men, like you said, when trying to think that they can escape their racial traumas by dating outside their race, that's why they don't care themselves about their own race. They turn their backs on their racial trauma. Like the only way to really like, want to be involved in your community is to understand that you will have racial trauma and that it's important to fight against that. If you are not fighting against that, but you're trying to run away from it, you are essentially abandoning yourself and your background and what should be important to you. So that's why often they don't care to find a partner who cares about that. If you loved your own culture, you wouldn't look to somebody else's culture for acceptance in yourself. And it's not even acceptance that they want, they just wanna be overwritten, really. Like, they want to forget that they deal with these things. However, when you honestly, inadvertently, when you date a white person as any race other than white or any ethnicity other than white, you will be probably confronted even more so with your ethnicity than than anyone else because you are dating literally the antithesis of yourself in society. Like you are and it's not to say that, like you said, interracial relationships should be bad, but when you do that and you forget history, you forget bias, you forget their own experiences, you forget that they have a racist family, it's like you're pretending that that doesn't affect you.
I agree. And one thing I want to say is the respect that I have for interracial dating for certain women. I've been approached by women. I would say only two I can remember, but I remember when I was in Salt Lake City, it was a white woman with a black dude. They were just hipsters. They were hippies. And she approached me and she said, "I love your boots. They're so pretty and your hair is so beautiful." And another white lady said, "Your hair is so beautiful," and was so kind to me. They dated a black person, but they were kind to me.
Mhm.
I had respect for their relationship after that.
Right.
I don't have respect for women that do not respect black women. And I could tell you when I've come across black men that are not with a black woman as a couple, they have looked at me like I've unalived their mother. They don't look at me with kindness. They don't say hello. They don't say how you're doing. They literally don't even want to look me in the eye as if I did something to them. and it is scary. It's the scariest thing, and this is the planet that I'm on. I can't leave it.
Right. Yeah, and I think that it has to do a lot with, like you said, people's racial trauma and projecting that onto other women that are unaware of that trauma and shouldn't be aware of your trauma to begin with, you know? Um,
Yeah.
and being upset whether they find you attractive or whatever the case is, like being so upset that that's the case and they are preventing themselves from liking that, which is often why, for instance, like even DL men are usually pieces of shit because they are holding something within themselves that they fought so hard to pretend isn't real. To fight so hard that you pretend an attraction to somebody that's natural isn't real will really mess you up in the head. It'll make you a terrible person. It'll either make you want to unalive yourself or unalive somebody else because of that hatred that you have for yourself and you
Like
project that onto.
Sharon, whatever, more. That's what
Yes.
I feel. I think he was gay.
Exactly, or
Really
Twix
do.
or all these people, like, you probably have a natural attraction to Black women or Black men if you're queer, whatever, but it's like, you have a natural attraction to somebody that you are fighting so hard against because you have told yourself that it's wrong or that it's not beneficial to you or these people bullied you or whatever the case is, and you are so angry about it that you are going to make it everybody else's problem, and it's unfair. It's just simply not
Yeah,
right.
I agree. How does my sound, by the way? Does
Oh,
it
it sounds
sound
really
good? Different?
good. I was gonna
Yay!
say, I wanted
Okay.
to tell you it sounds cool. It sounds cool. I like
Thank
this.
you. I
How
know
did you
there's
put it on
different
your
things
shirt?
to. I
Is
know.
it a
I didn't know if I
magnet?
should put it lower if it's too close to me.
Is it a magnet?
Yeah, it's a magnet.
Oh, that's cool. I
Yeah,
like
I
it. It
want to
sounds
do
really
it when I
good.
like make travel vlogs. I will get a vlogging camera eventually, but I want to do that, like have this on me while I make travel vlogs. So we'll see what happens. I will
It
be
sounds really
going to
good.
Japan.
I like it. It sounds really good.
Thank you. It was $69 and it was worth it. You know, I've been looking for a mic forever. It's been
Yeah.
so hard. I've been looking for a mic forever. I don't know the name of it, but it comes in here. It comes with two, so me and
Oh,
you can make a video together when we're like eating ramen or
period.
something, which is going to be exciting. I'm very excited to make videos with you in public. But
That's
it's
cute.
just
I like
like,
that.
I've been trying really hard. But yeah, anyways, back to our topic. Yeah, that's just something I've been thinking about. That's something that I've been talking to my best friend about. It's not been easy. Um, I haven't felt comfortable talking about it. The internet is not a kind place, but there's
Mhm.
people here, and I want to support you and be here for you. But at the same time, I can tell you, from my past job with that airline in Utah, was so
Mhm.
racist. It's like a couple of things. Predominantly white institution, New Paltz made me feel like crap.
Yeah.
Situationship I had with the man who, was with a overweight white woman for money and was doing terrible things, even though he loved black women, but he just held that to such a like it was his
Mhm.
gold moment in life, using a white woman for money, and she was on coke.
Yep.
Then also, interacting with men who don't understand misogyny and don't understand racial issues and don't want to, then seeing all these like black men give up on black love, then also seeing Cardi B and her colorism, then also dealing with colorism online, then seeing colorism within the housewives, then dealing with going to Salt Lake City with that racist airline I dealt with and being gaslit to be made feel that the content I make is wrong and I deserve to not have a job. I deserve to not have a roof over my head. I deserve to not be sorry. I
Mhm.
deserve to not live. Basically, it makes you so fearful to talk about anything ever again. The fact that I've been kicked out of a school club, the fact that I've lost relationships, and the fact that I've
Mhm.
also been told that I am not enough, the fact that I've also been told that I'm undesirable, the fact that I've also been told I deserve to be fired for making content about racial issues. Didn't harm nobody, didn't touch nobody. I did nothing. And nobody cared about the fact that what if I had kids? What if I didn't even have a roof over? What if
Mhm.
I did have a roof over my head I needed to pay for? What if I didn't? But nobody cared about that. It was more so she is protecting black people. She needs to go.
Right.
And yeah, Utah was inexperienced, and I really do like what Heather Gay is doing, exposing Mormonism
Yeah,
because it was scary. But yeah, it's
and
really
that's the
hard to get
problem,
on
like,
here and be
people
confident
need
again.
to people need to realize that in all those scenarios, white people are the common denominator in every single one, you know? Um, and I think that's just the thing, like, you are able to still sit here today in the job that you have and get another job, like, as you said, like, I remember that stage after that happened and you feeling like you were unable or incapable even or not good enough to have that position because of how those people made you feel in that moment. And you have proved yourself again and again how wrong that is, and again how wrong people's racism is. And as hard as it is, it's like being alive today, especially in America, with the propaganda that we see, is being gaslit 24/7. It's being gaslit to being told everything that you believe in and everything that you know to be true is untrue, and that your ideas are dangerous, that your ideas are malicious, that but it's only because it's dangerous to the white institution, it's dangerous to white people, it's dangerous to everything that they built up, because they know for a fact that we make up more people than they do. We do. Uh just as a whole, like, if we all could come together, it would be very detrimental to them. It would be dangerous to them, and they should be scared. That's really the thing. Like, it's a good thing that white people are scared. It's dangerous, but it is a good thing that we scare them at the same time by being pro yourself. Like,
And let's be honest, let's because people be so scaredy cat. We're talking
Mhm.
about the ones that are racist. Because I know y'all be watching stuff and
White
taking things out of
people.
context. We're talking about the ones that are racist, which is
Look at my
many of them,
picture.
and the ones that have a bias that they don't even understand is racist. The
Mhm.
ones that don't want to listen. And I respect
Mhm.
people. I respect white people that say, "Oh, I didn't even know I thought that way. Or I didn't even know that hurt you. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna work on
Right.
that because that's not right." Love those people. Absolutely love them, but they are hard to come by, you
Exactly.
know? I don't know what you mean by me, but we're gonna remove that. I don't know what that person meant, good or bad, but if you really wanted to explain, you could have.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
but
cut you off though.
no, that's okay. I mean, that's just the thing though, like, you know what? We have to keep the institution scared at the same time, which is why it's so important. Like, as you said, like, um in talking about even like the last job that you had, not being there is probably the biggest blessing that you could
I
have.
know, I'm getting paid so
So,
much more.
you know, being kicked out, quote unquote, of these situations by being yourself or this content is not necessarily a bad thing when that would have been the environment that would have been, because you've seen the black people in that airline and how they feel and how they have to treat other black people. It is not good. The depression, that people have to go through when they exploit themselves is not good. It's not desirable, which is how I feel about people in entertainment and all these industries. Exploiting yourself is not desirable. It just isn't. No matter how hard they try to make you feel like it is, it's not positive. It's not a positive experience. It's not something that you want. It's not. And that's also why they show rich people, they never want to show rich people giving back, because it's like they don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want rich people. They know rich people are all capable of solving poverty, like homelessness, everything. Beyonce, I'm sorry. But like, y'all can all get
That's
together
why,
and do
like, when I went
something
to
as a
Switzerland, it was so different.
yeah.
It wasn't that they were better people. It
Mhm.
really wasn't that. There's also a lot of Christianity in Switzerland. They
Yeah, I'm
weren't
sure.
better people. It's just that the way things are set up,
Mhm.
you still have to work hard, but there is equality in certain areas. But there's not a lot of black people. If it was like 50% black people, then I think they would have been riots in the street. But there's like
Mhm.
two black people, so they're just like, "Ah, there's only two of them. Whatever, we'll give them some."
Let them
That's
pass.
why it's a small population to
Yeah.
control. It's
And
small,
then meanwhile though, like, there still are people in
but there's still
countries.
racism there. Don't act like there's
Of
not.
course, and there's still people in countries like that that are, like, small, and keep in mind, they're small as fuck. Small, homogenous maybe the side of
There's more
maybe
people
less
in
than the
Puerto Rico than
population of New
Switzerland.
York itself. First of all, New York in itself is such a big population compared to some countries. But it's like small homogenous white countries in Europe. And the reason why people are like, well, they have like this less crime or this blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, but imagine though, there's still political issues there where people don't like even that immigrants come to their country thinking it's a better place to live. They think that you're taking their jobs, but whatever. Any rhetoric that has been spread in America about the same thing is happening somewhere in a small homogenous, idyllic quote unquote country in Europe. Like it's not any better. And even the same thing for even Asian countries like Korea or Japan. Unaliving rate
Yeah.
unaliving rate is so high because of the fact that their work culture, or like even the narcissistic culture, the bullying, the harassment that they put themselves through in school and in society and in workforce, it's so horrendous. It's awful because like the way they have a community system built up, it's not positive. It's not really a positive group mentality, and people think it's so great having a group mentality, but not one like that at all. I would say maybe more indigenous cultures are better with
Mhm.
community. Indigenous and African cultures have a different sense of community than something that you see in Asia, like in like Eastern Asia. So it's just
Mhm.
interesting, but we also have to understand that even in Japan, like people want to say it's so idyllic, but I'm like, those people aren't really native Japanese people. But that's a history lesson. Read a book. It's
Mhm.
not what you think it is and why you think it is, because technically Japan is considered the America of Eastern Asia. Like they are
Yeah.
not great. So it's not like the grass is greener on the other side. It really isn't. Every country has its
Yeah.
own problems and for different reasons. And I think people need to understand that. Like when they just say, well, why don't you just leave? Like, shut up.
Yes, that's
Like
what people say to black women. It's so terrible.
it's such
People
a
say that to black
stupid
women all the
statement.
time.
Mhm.
They
It's such
say
a
to
stupid
us like,
statement.
"Why don't you just leave? Why don't you just leave?" Why would I leave
Yep.
my place of birth
Right.
because you hate me? Does that make
Mhm.
any sense? You literally took us from Africa, made us slaves, and then you're telling us to leave? Like, this makes no sense. Like, I'm just
Right.
like, I would have been, first of all, my ancestors would have been left if we had the option, bro. You think if we had the option to leave slavery, we wouldn't have been left? Like,
Mhm.
they don't make sense. It's so irritating. I'm like, what do
And
you
that's
mean just leave?
yes. It only ever was proposed as well to bring like the diaspora back to Africa once they were no longer connected to that culture anymore. They had their own culture in America. So it's like it makes no sense. White people just don't care about, they just don't want to care about issues. They want to pretend like nothing is happening, so they don't have to deal with things. However, I'm like, you wanted to create an allegedly democratic society, which is really
That's
not.
like no shade. I'm
But
gonna talk about one thing. We were
mhm,
sitting at a dinner party, me and Amanda, and we were in
mhm,
front of somebody who was a white person, and a black girl joined us and started talking
mm,
about how another black girl at the party was pretty, and the white person
mm,
in front of us just
quiet
dis disassociated from the conversation.
for real.
And
I
I'm like,
noticed that.
girl, you wanted to talk so much about teaching, and that's why I'm like, that's why I fucking left teaching. Like, this is you wanted to sit there and relate with me about teaching, curriculum, and kids, but then when I'm talking about, girl, shut the fuck up, nigga. Sorry, didn't mean to say that. But what you call it? I'm just like, it's so
Yeah.
frustrating to see how she just didn't intervene in the she didn't want to talk. I was like,
Mhm.
girl, we're literally complimenting another woman. You could have said, yeah, she's so pretty. And it was giving, even if it was a white woman, she probably wouldn't have cared. But it was just
Yeah.
like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, she just
Mhm.
disassociated from the conversation.
No, I noticed that. I did think too. I think it was part of like she felt either uncomfortable or she was like, oh, I feel like she realized we're also
Because
younger than
we
her,
were saying
and it was
nigga and all
weird.
this.
Yeah, I feel like she got uncomfortable because even like we were doing that when you weren't there as well, and I think I don't know, she either felt like cut out because even that person that was talking to me, you know who I'm talking about. Um, I think it was like she felt like she wasn't. It was weird. She felt not included because the
Because you're
conversation was not
not
about
young and
her.
hip.
The conversation wasn't about her, so she felt not
Yes.
included. Essentially, and I think that's the problem is, like, some women, any woman, but, like, some people in general, specifically white women, don't like when the conversation is not centered around them, you
Or
know?
their children.
Ugh. Like, I
And
don't wanna talk
showing
about
pictures
your
of your kids and
ugly
crap.
kids.
You didn't even ask me what I did this summer. Like,
Mhm.
we'll get on that in another topic because we got to end this and watch Real Housewives of Potomac because it was really good. But like, it's just so frustrating. Like, I've come around and I'm a good talker, so I just listen. But like, I really be looking at people like, you didn't ask me a goddamn thing about my
Yeah.
life. How can you?
Mhm.
I don't even think some of them mean to do it on purpose. I really don't.
No,
But I'm just
yeah.
like, how the fuck do you get around in life without
Mhm.
caring about other fucking people? Like, what is
Yeah.
wrong with you? I don't care
Having
that
other
you went
friends who also
fishing
do the same
last fucking
thing.
summer with little Georgie. Like, does it look like I care? Does it look like I even like fish, bitch? Like, did you
Right.
ask? It's oh sorry, that's a whole nother topic, but we can end it there and talk about that.
It's true. I think, though, that people like that only have friends that do the same exact thing. So which is why they wanna talk about themselves so much because nobody really ever listens to them. They just talk about themselves, and that's their circle, that's the friendship that they built, you know? They don't like when
Yeah.
it's not centered on them.
It's so frustrating. Well, we're gonna end it there. I'm really happy that my bestie joined this video. It definitely helped me talk. We're gonna try to do this more because we have conversations that y'all don't hear. And I feel like I get on here, I don't remember what we said, or I don't say exactly what we said, or I don't feel comfortable. And my best friend has made me feel super comfortable talking as a Black woman here, and she's a Latina, and she's made me feel so comfortable in my skin and who I am, and has told me that don't let what people are saying to you make you feel like what you're saying is wrong just because they feel
Mhm.
uncomfortable with the idea of racism and that it exists. Like she has
Mhm.
helped me talk about it, which I'm very thankful. So thank you. And this one saying,
Yeah.
I hope a Black girl hears this. You can still date who you want to date, but please remember to keep your Blackness alive. That's all I hope
Mhm.
for. I hope that, you're still trying to be yourself wherever you are. I'm going to still try and meet people in person or online. Meeting people online during the holidays, like I said, can be very iffy. It's almost over. Woohoo. It's
Thank
been a rough
God.
holiday for me. It hasn't been a normal Christmas. It hasn't been a normal birthday. I've had a lot of hatred from my family, which doesn't feel right, but I am getting an apartment. I got a new phone, and that was one of my biggest accomplishments. So, hey, I got my own phone plan, and things are going the way they should be going. So, I'm doing all right, but I am looking forward to hopefully having an apartment by the springtime. That is my goal. I want to have an apartment by April or May, and that is just my goal. And I'm hopeful for it. I'm still gonna travel because traveling is cheaper than spending. I could literally go to New York City and spend $100 in a day, which is
True.
unfortunate because that's what you have to do on the train,
True.
on gas, on the
Mhm.
spa, on the food. By then, I could have been literally in a different country spending like less than
Broad.
$50 a day. So if I have this opportunity, that's what I'm doing nowadays. So we're just gonna figure it out. Cheap travels and just eating food and yeah, I'm gonna find cheap places to stay and I don't know if I'll meet anybody, but I just have hope that I'll just be happy and that's the best for me. Who knows? Maybe I will,
Yeah.
maybe I won't.
Yeah, but being able to go in another country, especially in your single life, ugh, because some people don't wanna fucking go nowhere, and then you'll
I
feel like
know.
you have to we've met people who are, like, just starting a relationship or something, and they're like, "Well, I don't wanna go there because I feel bad that they don't wanna come with me or they don't have the money." Like, go, bitch! Like,
I
take
know.
you might never have this opportunity again, like, go,
I
you know?
agree. Any
So,
closing thoughts, Amanda?
well, I love you, and,
Mm.
you know keep keep on keeping on. Don't feel like you can't talk about anything, even if you think it's nothing is controversial. Just say it. It's true. It's life. Reality feels controversial only because it hurts people's feelings because they're doing some stupid shit. So, and if you're doing that stupid shit, then we're talking about you. So it is what it is, you know?
Thanks. Well, we love y'all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here for, I guess, an hour and 48 minutes. This was the best live I've done in a minute, and I enjoyed it. And peace out. We're going to watch Real Housewives of Potomac because we have some thoughts, and maybe we'll do a review together, hopefully. Bye.